Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. My name is Richard, and I will be your anchor for this week. Before we dive into the topic I have for you this week, I would like to quickly say if you have one or two things that you'd like to know about Life for Living Well, and for one reason or the other, you're not always able to get it from the podcast directly, you can check it out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. There is a form where you can send me a message or give me an update or feedback through that form. You can also send me an email as hello@lifeforlivingwell.com. And if you also would like to see the video blog regarding this particular podcast that we do every week, you can also check it out on our YouTube channel at Life for Living Well channel. Thank you for your time, and thank you for following this podcast and for your support. So let's dive into it. So I have amazing topic for you today, and so firstly, let's try each other up before we start. So the topic I'm presenting to you this week is what I call key to happiness. This particular topic, happiness, I've divided so many great men and women in the society from one generation upon another generation, and this particular topic is what people have spent a lot of their time to wanted to find the meaning and definition of happiness. And because it's so universal, it's not only relative to a particular race or color or society or culture. It is something that affecting over 7 billion people on the planet Earth. As usual, before we start diving into it, so let's say what Marcus Aurelius said about key to happiness. Marcus Aurelius is one of the good emperors that the book mentions in the Roman time, and his simplicity and how he's put the benefit of the Roman people all over the world into his art of his governance, and how he lives his life is inspired a lot of Stoic philosophers and even those academicians that are not Stoic in nature but follow the writing and the principle of Marcus Aurelius. So let's quickly see what Marcus Aurelius say about key to happiness. Happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Therefore, guide accordingly and take care that you entertain no notions unsuitable to virtues and reasonable nature. So, the words always focus on good and the bad. So actually, what is more important is to make your life become a more reasonable person. So you don't always just overly focus on fact or focus on your emotions. So being happy is to guide your personality, your virtues. Make sure that you create things. So that is the observation of Marcus Aurelius in his own time. And how does that relevant to us today? And this is what we want to examine in this podcast this week. So this week we will look at the key to happiness. What is the reason for unhappiness in our society today? Today, it seems like we have so much more than the previous generation would be so envied about. It seems like everything that we have in our fingertip in the area of technology, in the area of medicine, in the area of information, also in the area of making and creating money, traveling. Today, traveling becomes something billions of people can avoid to do. even moving from one town to another town. This is not the case thousands of years ago. It's amazing how long it takes people to move from one place to another just because of the limitation of the technology or the opportunities that are available at the time. But still, people still not happy. So we have a capital H happiness, and then we have a lowercase h happiness. But the one the world prepared to us more is lowercase h happiness, and that could bring a lot of pain to people's life, such as addiction. Sometimes it ends up into suicide when people sacrifice everything on the point of chase of happiness. People that are actually happy, they create more. But what they sell to the people is when you chase more, you'll be happy. So this podcast wanted to look into the reality of key to happiness. That do you really need to do anything to be happy? So I hope by the time we finish this podcast, you might be able to get one thing or the other from it. So over 7 billion people are estimated to have a beating on Earth, who define happiness in several ways. So if you go to China, if you go to Japan, if you go to Africa, if you come to Europe, if you go to America, almost everyone wants happiness, but they have a different definitions of define what is make them happy. Some people having family, having their children, having their wife or husband with them actually made them really happy. Some people having a lot of friends, have a good job, have a good health, make them really happy. However, some people chasing career, seeking political posts, seeking power, make them happy. But then, what is the key to happiness? Because the other hand, it shows when people acquire all these things, they remain unhappy. They get themselves in places that actually took away the happiness away from their life, such as addiction, find yourself in a wrong group of friends, lose your humanity in a way that you become more arrogant, egoistic about it, thinking like you are the one that created it. It's always surprised me when I've observed some billionaires that are very arrogant, they're very condescending, and then you also see another group of billionaires that are even more, have more wealth than the other one, and they are more helpful, they are more humane, they are more humble, and you say money has nothing to do with the character each person display. Money magnifies it. So in some culture, they define if you have a lot of money, that's when you're happy. Evidence and research have shown that money alone do not make people happy. There's many people with money today that remain very, very unhappy. In fact, they use their money to buy more problems for their life. But what exactly is the key to happiness? So these are the questions that should be the heart of this podcast today. So happiness itself is a universal truth. It's a thing that everyone wants, regardless of their culture, color, or position they are in the society. Sometimes we notice this when we meet people that give us smile. We automatically assume that they are happy. Most of the time, that is correct. Because you cannot give what you don't have. Once you feel content within yourself, once you feel acceptance in your nature, once you are connected to your source of strength, you become more calm, you become more content, you easily to appreciate things, including people that come around you. How do we know this? You see them. You can meet these people in subway, you can meet them in your work. You might also have them already in your family. So if you prep into people's online profile, you can see how extent people have gone to show that they are happy and everything is perfect in their life. They put the picture of their house, their garden, restaurants, the food they are eating right now. They wanted all their circle of friends to see how happy they are. But when you actually close or know one of these people, they're extremely sad about their life. It's either they are worried about what they don't have in their life, meaning that they live in the past, or they worry what will happen to them in a few years' time, just to take their mind away from where they are. And you could see that the happiness that they experience in that moment is disappear. They're constantly moving. So they are the cool people that want to display the status of their relationship. And if they define their worth based on what they have or achieve or create, and when those things disappear in their life, they suddenly sad. I once spoke to an acquaintance that he wasn't happy with the role he's been given at work because he presumed that he should be recognized and given more higher position at work. So I looked into him and I said, you still have something to be grateful for. And he said, what? And I said, look, the same job provides you your living. The same job pay for your hobbies, to travel over the world, to go diving. So what is it that you need to do to give you the position you want? And he said he has to do the exam because he's a doctor, so he has to do more exam. And I said, what's stopping you doing it? And he said, I don't have to do it because I've already in that role in my country. And I said, now you move to another country and they need a different standard for you. So apparently he did not want to do the extra work of study. And that's the point. But suddenly he complained until make himself very unhappy about his situation, and that degenerated down to the relationship that he has with his colleagues. So the limitation of creating happiness based on small age of the status that we accumulated based on the job status, responsibility, or our role in family or material possession. These are happiness that are very, very limited, and is the happiness that the society pushed to us a lot. And suddenly we can lose this kind of happiness, and we have so much anxiety to deal with because suddenly we feel empty. Suddenly we don't know ourselves anymore. But a true happiness, it goes beyond this. Is the capital H, and this is how I wanted to prove and display in the podcast. Many times people use small h happiness by saying words like I will start playing guitar or piano when I have a better guitar. I will start happy when I move to a bigger house. I will be so happy when I change a job. I will be happy when I travel. So it's always when something happens. We all know that this is not always true. Just imagine a kidnapper that wanted to be happy, and he thinks if he kidnaps someone and he get ransom from that person, he will be so happy. So what happened? He exchanged the person for the money. He was carrying a load of bag of money on his hand, and suddenly he was surrendered by the police siren. So what does he do? He dropped the bag of money and run for his life. So in that case, what is more important to this kidnapper? Is it the bag of the money or the life that is about to snap away from him? His life. And most of us could fall into this trap. So in this case, life is more precious to the kidnapper than the ransom he collected. And his action is against the happiness he pursues. Because you cannot be genuinely happy when you take the happiness away from some other person. You are not deserved to have a freedom when you decided to take away other people's freedom. It's so amazing how we live our life unconsciously most of the time, and we forget that we will reap what we sow. So why can't we intentionally, subconsciously sow happiness so we reap it back in return by our actions and our deed? People say things like they will play piano when they have a good piano. We all know it doesn't work like that. You got to enjoy play piano regardless the standard of the piano you have. Another way that I've seen people, their happiness being snatched away from them. I've seen people that they went through life challenges. Life seemed to be very tough for them. What did they do? They became very bitter about it. They're bitter about everything. They even made themselves more victim than any other victim in the world. So what now happened to them? They don't want to be alone. They want to be happy, but they begin to push people away from their life. How did they do that? They complain bitterly about people in their life. They become ungrateful about people in their life. They feel entitled to the resources and the time of people in their life. Mostly parents do this, especially parents that are very, very mature. Not all the parents. Friends, siblings, colleagues, they can also fall into this trap. Never make yourself so bitter because of what you went through in life that you perpetually suffer more than necessary. I've seen this, and it's really, really hard to help anyone like this unless they are ready to be removed from that kind of thinking. So all their energy focuses on things that won't work, and no reason to be happy. So one of the major causes of unhappiness is our own attitude to life, our own attitude to the things that happen to us. Some people will tell you things that happen to them, and you ask them, when did they happen? It happened when 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But they speak about it, they feel emotion about it as if it just happened right now. Most people say they want happiness, but the choices and their deepest desire are on collision path to the result they are experiencing. So the action that they took is totally different to what the result they want to experience. From the observation from multiple sources, it is self-evident. The key to happiness from one generation to another is the wisdom of ages. And what are that wisdom? Many philosophers and the wisest people in society for ages had argued what is happiness is. And they come up with so many definitions. As I'm rounding this up now, and let's look at the key to happiness itself. We have been looking to what makes us unhappy. And if we can change or work on that, we can begin to experience happiness, that capital H. So what are the key to happiness? In short, you become what you think about. How? First, ensure your thoughts are in line to what you say, think, what you want. Happy people seem to be very busy creating, supporting goals beyond themselves. Many people are too calculative and self-driven, which really impair their cause for happiness. So, the true key and lasting happiness is right thinking and good thoughts. Let your vision and dream be higher than yourself. As a result, you become very grateful and graceful in nature. So the key to happiness is you become what you think about. If your thought is, what is people have done to me? How did they hurt you? It is impossible for you to create the kind of happiness you want in your life. And when you are happy, you will see a different shift of energy because you are connected to universal higher energy, and you'll be able to create more happy experience in your life. Because people that are happy, they create more. They are very hardworking people. Not the kind of hardworking that spend 7 in the morning to 10 o'clock in the office. Not at all. In fact, these people, they take what they do for their professional job seriously, but they also have a life outside their work that connected to their higher version. They are not fortunate enough to work in an environment that contributes to their recall. But these are the people that know the purpose of the journey of their life. So the question for you this week: how happy are you? Are you in vibration to capital H happiness, or are you still lowercase happiness? To tap to capital H happiness, remember, you become what you think about. I hope this podcast helps someone. Until we meet again next week, please stay safe. Ciao.